morning children, and welcome back to your chemistry class. So today we are going to discuss about the chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. To begin with, let us understand nucleophilic addition reactions. Now we know that both aldehydes and ketones, they are unsaturated compounds. Aldehydes and ketones, they both undergo nucleophilic addition reactions. So these reactions, they are catalyzed by both acids and bases, right? So the reactions of weak nucleophiles, for example your ammonia, they are carried out in weakly acidic medium, while those of the strong nucleophiles, like for example hydrogen cyanide, that is carried out in the basic medium. Clear? So aldehydes, they are more reactive towards the nucleophilic addition reactions than ketones. Now what is the reason? They are because of number one, inductive effect. I'll explain a little later. And the second one is due to the steric effect. Okay. So what did I say? That aldehydes, they are more reactive towards the nucleophilic addition reactions than ketones. And what is the reason? Due to inductive effect and due to steric effect. So what is inductive effect? Let us understand this. Since an alkyl group has electron donating nature due to its plus I effect, right? So, greater the number of alkyl groups attached to the carbonyl number, greater is the electron density on the carbonyl, and thus it lowers the attack of the nucleophile, and hence the reactivity, it will decrease, right? So, if we need to check the reactivity, then we will see formaldehyde greater than aldehyde, and this is also greater than ketone, right? So this part is clear. What did I say? Now what is formaldehyde? Formaldehyde is this, right? Aldehyde, this will be RH double bond O. And what is ketone? Ketone is R dash double bond O. Now try to understand. What did I say? That an alkyl group has electron donating nature due to the plus I effect. Okay. Now, greater the number of alkyl groups attached to the carbonyl group. Okay. Greater is the electron density on the carbonyl. Thus, this is going to lower the attack of the nucleophile. And hence you can see greater are the alkyl groups over here. So the attack of the nucleophile will decrease the reactivity of this ketone. I hope this point is clear. Now let's talk about steric effect. As the number of alkyl groups, they are attached to the carbonyl carbon, increases the attack of the nucleophile on the carbonyl group, right? It becomes more and more difficult. Why? Due to steric hindrance of the alkyl groups. Therefore, due to the presence of too much bulk of the alkyl group, ketones, they are less reactive than the aldehydes, right? And we can say thus the reactivity of formaldehyde is more than acetaldehyde, which is still more than your ketones. I hope this point is clear. Now, if you want to further see beyond ketone, we will also see that diisopropyl ketone, it is still less. Diisopropyl ketone. Now, what is diisopropyl ketone? Let me just show it to you, where you are going to find more of the alkyl groups present over here. So the steric hindrance is more, and therefore it shows less reaction towards the nucleophilic addition. So let me show it to you. CH3CH CH3, 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 C double bond O. So you can see the steric hindrance is more, right? Thus, due to the bulkiness of this R group over here, this particular diisopropyl ketone is still less reactive towards the nucleophilic addition reactions than your ketone or aldehyde or formaldehyde. I hope this point is clear. Now, aromatic aldehydes and ketones, they are less reactive than the corresponding aliphatics. Okay. Why? Because the electron donating resonance effect of the benzene ring, it increases the electron density on the carbonyl carbon, and this makes the carbonyl carbon less electrophilic. I hope this point is clear. Let us talk about some aromatic aldehydes, ketones and some alkyl aryl ketones. Like for example, if I take benzaldehyde, that is C6H5CHO. If I take acetophenone, like formula is C6H5COCH3. And if I take benzophenone, that is C6H5CO C6H5. So what did I say? Among these aromatic aldehydes and ketones, the aromatic aldehydes, they are more reactive than your alkyl aryl ketones, which in turn they are more reactive than the diaryl ketones. So if you check this, your benzaldehyde will be more reactive than acetophenone, and acetophenone will be more reactive than your benzophenone, right? Now let us talk about some more important reactions which are based on your nucleophilic addition reaction. Let us now talk about some examples of some important nucleophilic addition reactions. So coming to the first one, that is addition of hydrogen cyanide, that is HCN, right? So aldehydes and ketones, they on reaction with hydrogen cyanide, they give cyanohydrins, right? And this reaction is slow and it is catalyzed by a base. So let us look at the reaction like CH3H C double bond O. What is this? Acetaldehyde, right? When treated with HCN, that is hydrogen cyanide, it is supposed to give us cyanohydrin. So let us look at the formula of cyanohydrin. CH3HOHCN. This is called as acetaldehyde cyanohydrin. Clear? Now these cyanohydrins, they are useful synthetic intermediates. Next we come to addition of sodium bisulfite. Okay, so let's look at this reaction. If we take sodium bisulfite, okay, what are they going to give? They will give us SO3HONA, an intermediate, okay, and then further proton transfer takes place, right, and we get a bisulfite addition compound. Okay, bisulfite addition compound. What is this called as? Bisulfite addition compound. I hope these reactions are clear. Now for this, you remember that diethyl ketone, acetophenone, benzophenone, they are not going to undergo this kind of a reaction. What is the reason? Due to steric hindrance of the bulky group present around that carbonyl group. Therefore, they will not undergo this addition of sodium bisulfite, or they will not react with hydrogen cyanide as well. Right? Next, we move to the third reaction, that is addition of Grignard's reagent. Okay, so let's see if acetone CH3 double bond O, this is if I take acetone and treat it with Grignard's reagent. So let's take Grignard's general reaction, general compound, right, and treat it with dry ether. So firstly we are going to obtain an addition product. Okay, so what is that addition product? Let's see. OMGX, this will be R, and here it is CH3. Okay, so this is your addition product, right? Further, when treated with in the acidic medium, right, it is going to give us tertiary alcohol. Tertiary alcohol will be COH, here R, CH3 plus MgOH. Clear? So this what is formed over here is your tertiary alcohol, right? So this was about addition of Grignard's reagent. Now certain nucleophilic addition reactions which are followed by loss of water. So nucleophilic addition reactions followed by loss of water. Right, so let us firstly understand the addition of ammonia. So aldehydes, they react with ammonia and they form aldehyde ammonia. Okay, so I give you a general reaction and then an example of it. So RC double bond OH, this is your aldehyde when treated with ammonia. Ammonia, which could be written like this. It is going to form a aldehyde ammonia, that is RCOH HNH2. Right, this is what called as aldehyde ammonia. The aldehyde ammonia, they are unstable, so they lose water on warming and they then form aldimines. What do they form? They form aldimines. So this is going to lose water on warming, and what it is going to form, as I said, it is going to form, this compound is called as aldimine. I hope this reaction is clear. Now formaldehyde, when they react with ammonia, they form hexamethylene tetraamine, right, which is also called as eutropine. So I'll rub this and show it to you. Formaldehyde, when it reacts with ammonia, HCHO, 6 molecules of formaldehyde, when they react with 4 parts of ammonia, they form europropine, that is CH2 6N4. What is this? Eurotropine plus water. Okay. What is this eurotropine also called as? It is also termed as hexamethylene tetraamine. Okay, one more A should be there. So I hope this is clear. Now ketones, they react with ammonia and they form ketone ammonia, which cannot be isolated, right? So when ketones they react, let's see ketone reacting with ammonia, CH3 with NH3. Now remember, when acetone is treated with ammonia at low temperature, I'm first going to show you at low temperature, it is going to form acetone ammonia. That is COH, then CH3 and NH2. What is this called as? This will be termed as acetone ammonia, right? But that same acetone, when treated at high temperature, in the presence of ammonia, when treated at high temperature, it is going to form diacetone amine. What? It is going to form diacetoamine. This is CH3, and here it will be CH2COCH3. Okay, and some water molecules will be given out. And what is the name of this? This is diacetone amine. Fine. I hope all these reactions are clear to you. What did I tell you? Aldehydes, they react with ammonia and they form aldehyde ammonia. Aldehyde, because it is unstable, so it loses water on warming and it forms aldimines. Okay. Then I gave you an example of formaldehyde. It reacts with ammonia, and what does it form? It forms hexamethylene tetraamine, which is also called as eurotropine. Right? Then ketones, they react with ammonia at low temperature to give acetone ammonia. Further, this acetone, when treated with ammonia at high temperature, gives diacetone amine. Right? Now we shall move to, right? Now I am going to talk about reduction. In reduction, let's first talk about reduction to alcohols, right? So over here, let's talk about the aldehydes. C double bond O, when treated with hydrogen in the presence of nickel, platinum or palladium, it is going to give us an alcohol. Okay. They can also get reduced in the presence of lithium aluminium hydride, or it could be sodium boron hydride, and will also give us the alcohol. Okay. Let's take some example. Like for example, CH3CHO, when treated with nascent hydrogen in the presence of lithium aluminium hydride, it is going to give us CH3CH2OH, and this is your primary alcohol, ethyl alcohol. Okay. Then let's talk about acetone. CH3 C double bond O, when this is reduced in the presence of lithium aluminium hydride, it is going to give us CH3CH, CH3OH. So what is this? This is your secondary alcohol. Okay. And if C6H5CHO, benzaldehyde, is reduced in the presence of lithium aluminium hydride, then it is going to give us benzyl alcohol, that is C6H5CH2OH. What is this called as? This is called as benzyl alcohol. Okay, so reduction to alcohols is clear to you by the aldehydes and the ketones, by the aldehyde and by the ketones, and also by aromatic aldehyde also I have shown you this reaction. Now let us move to reduction to hydrocarbons. So in the reduction to hydrocarbons, this will be your second reaction. So to the reduction to hydrocarbons, first let us understand the Clemmensen reduction. Clemmensen reduction. Okay, in Clemmensen reduction, the aldehyde is reduced in the presence of zinc or mercury and HCl and gives us a hydrocarbon. Which hydrocarbon is it going to give us? It is going to give us alkane, that is RCH3. It is going to give us an alkane, right? And water will be given out. Loss of water will be given out, right? So this reduction is commonly used for aldehydes or ketones which are sensitive to alkalis. Next, let us move to Wolff-Kishner reduction. Wolff-Kishner reduction. Okay, so first one we did was the Clemmensen reduction. Now we are going to talk about Wolff-Kishner reduction. Over here, the aldehyde or ketone, when it is treated with hydrazine, that is H2NNH2, right? If we remove water is removed from here and it is going to form hydrazine. Is this? No, this is hydrazine. So it is going to form hydrazone. It is going to form what? Hydrazone. This is called as hydrazone. And further, this hydrazone, when it is treated with either KOH or glycerol at the temperature 453 to 473 Kelvin, then this is going to form alkane, that is RCH3, and nitrogen gas will be given out. So this is the alkane that is obtained. So one alkane obtained over here from the reduction in the presence of zinc or mercury and HCl, and one is with hydrazine. First it forms hydrazone, and that hydrazone again when treated with KOH or glycerol at this temperature is going to give us alkane. Now this reduction is used for those aldehydes and ketones which are sensitive to acids, right? We come to the last part of this. Now let us talk about nucleophilic reaction followed by loss of water with red phosphorus and hydrogen iodide. Okay, so if we talk about an aldehyde, this is when treated with HI or hydrogen iodide in the presence of red phosphorus temperature 423 Kelvin. It is going to form alkane, that is RH, plus water plus iodine will be given out. Okay, and if we take a ketone, then if suppose we take a ketone like for example R dash double bond O and treated with your 4HI in the presence of red phosphorus at 423 Kelvin, then again this is going to form an alkane, that is RCH2R dash, RCH2R dash plus H2O2 iodine will be released. Okay, so I stop over here. Today we did addition reactions and reductions of nucleophilic addition reactions, right? Thank you.